Hey guys, welcome back. I know we're doing something a little different today. We are diversifying our portfolio here in 2025. So, to close out 2024, we're going to kick it off, right? We are finally here for my list of top 2024 top GLs and BLs, in my personal humble opinion. I'm gonna be honest with you, I do not know how long this is gonna be, nor I know how long I'm going to be talking for, but I'm gonna try my very best to put visuals somewhere so you can follow along with my rambles and shrambles, okay? First things first, I want to mention is the order that we're gonna go. So we're gonna go honorable mentions, and then we're gonna go GLs, and then we're gonna go BLs. These are not in any particular order like I did last year. I couldn't figure out how to put them in an order. We had so many good ones this year, so they're just kind of all at the same tier for different reasons, right? And so I tried to keep them at least to 10. But yeah, so last but certainly not least, my top BLs for 2024. Again, there is no rhyme and there is no reason to this one. I couldn't figure out how to put them in order of things that made sense categorically. So we're just kind of here. We're just kind of here. Um, so I do like to mention that technically Spaceless, which is on my list, is not a BL show. It's a BL movie. It's a short movie. That's how we started. That's how we met Jest and Bible, from 4 minutes. So throwing it out there because that was a sad moment in time for me, but I liked it. It was just sad. It wasn't like boo-hoo sad, like, oh no, they didn't end up together, even though they didn't end up together. It was just like, oh, life, sad, you know? But it was really good if you didn't already check that one out. So I think technically in the same category is 4 minutes and my stand-in. I'm gonna call those my toxic categories. But they are good for different reasons, right? So technically 4 minutes falls under both toxic and fantasy, right? Because the whole, well, more like sci-fi, because, or science fiction, because of the whole aspect of the traveling thing, right? And so this, remember I was talking about earlier how my issue with Reverse for me was that the the science of the power didn't stay consistent, right? So my issue with 4 minutes is the science of the science, actually, because we turned out it wasn't actually a power, it was like a delusion, right? So the science of that didn't stay consistent throughout the show. It kept getting back. It was very non-congruent, non-continuous, and it was really bothering me. It was really bothering me. But it's still one of my favorite shows because I know that show was so good, right? Everybody else did not have the issue I had with that show, which was the continuity of the time travel-ness, right? And that's what I need to call it because it wasn't time travel, but it was, right? So the continuity of that bothered the ever-loving life out of me. It really, really did. But the context of the show, I liked it. I thought it had story. I thought it had a good like plot line to it. I thought it was a very interesting show. I don't can't remember a single show that's even close to being like that, right? Um let's see. I thought the characters were complex. And the storyline itself smidge confusing. But you really it's one of those shows where you really have to sit and focus and pay attention to it. Because if you didn't sit and focus and pay attention to it, you got lost per episode. Like that, it's not one of those ones you can turn in the background and kind of be flipping through your phone for. You gotta hone in, okay, no tie or not, because the details they were interconnected. They were all over the place. You had to focus. You had to focus. And I like that. I like that it had me thinking. I love the theories that were coming out of everybody. I love the theories that were coming out of me. Um, it was just a fun time. My stand-in was fun because it was toxic and because he ended up being a stand-in for a stand-in for a stand-in for the stand-in. And I love that. That mess was mussy. Okay? Now that technically is also falling under fantasy because he had a second chance at life because he ended up in a second body. Um, so technically they both are toxic fantasy. Look at that. Again, I liked the story. I liked the characters. I don't love the decision making skills, but at least it made sense. Like I can tell you from the first action they made to the last action they made, nothing about that was confusing. It was dumb. It was idiotic. It was things you should not have done for 500 for sure. But it made sense. And it was a fun watch. My stand in at 4 minutes was not only fun to watch, as a viewer, but it was fun to watch as a content creator, and it was fun to watch as a viewer of other content creators, because the theories, the back and forth, the arguments, the defenses, it was just a fun time all the way around. And I enjoy when we can discuss and disagree, but like still understand each other. Now, was there a lot of disagreeing and understanding of each other? No. Okay, because opinions are going to be opinions, and we can't back an opinion with a fact because it's an opinion. But I was there for a good time and a long time, so that was fun. Let's see. Time of Fever was the prequel to Unintentional Love Story. I both love and want to fight. So that one was on iQIYI. And it followed the second couple of Unintentional Love Story. It gave their whole backstory. It was so well done, guys. It was technically a movie, but it was on iQIYI. It presents as like 16 to 20-minute episodes. It was so well done. I loved that show so much. It was just as good as Unintentional Love Story. The story was just as complex. You fell for the characters just as much. You were heartbroken for them. You were in love for them. You were everything for them in every moment of every space and every time. My only critique is I don't know how the end of the Time of Fever hitches to the beginning of Unintentional Love Story, because at the end of the Time of Fever, it alludes to the fact that the main couple got spoiler alert, got back together, right? In Unintentional Love Story, the main couple is not together, and then it alludes to them getting together by, again, spoiler alert, by the end of the show, right? So it just doesn't match where we were at the beginning of Unintentional Love Story. I almost need like another prequel to get us from Time of Fever to Unintentional Love Story, but it was still a really good show. I really enjoyed it a lot. What else? Oh, okay. So my top Taiwanese BL of the year is gonna be Unknown. I'm gonna be honest with you. I am typically a Taiwanese girly. Don't know if I all the way loved the Taiwanese stories this year. Liked them. Didn't love them. But Unknown. Listen. I know. Okay. I know. But Unknown, much like Koseki Dare to me, you will find no fault for me. I cannot describe to you an issue with that show. I can't, guys. I loved every minute of that show. I was every minute of that show. Okay, set, unbothered. Don't talk to me. You don't know me until this episode is over. I do not exist to the world until this episode is over, and I have processed it fully. It was so dramatic. It was so heavy, but when it was light and it was fluffy and it was cute, I want to rewatch it now. Just talking about it, I love that show so much. It was so good. It brought me a lot of joy. And everybody who didn't watch it, I get it. I got it. I do, really. One of my top, for sure. Definitely like top 3 if I had put them in an order. Unknown. 100%. Love that. Everything about that was amazing for me. Even the sister ended up with the best friend. Like, I don't think I can explain to you how awesome that was, because it was amazing. It was amazing. I have a list right here. That's why I keep looking. So, next up we have We Are. Now, We Are was my favorite long form story, right? I realize that we're entering this new phase of BL right now where a lot of our storytelling for the episodes are getting long form, which is super great. Because I think sometimes the 10 to 12 episode format, just we'd be missing details sometimes, and I'd be real emotional about it. But sometimes they do it really, really well. But so I liked the long formness of it, and so because of that, it's gonna go in like my top BLs for this year. However, right, currently airing are Forever You Project and Perfect 10 Liners, which are both long form content shows, which I like more than We Are currently. So next year, it might not stay as my top long form BL, because I feel like that needs its own separate category, because the premise of it is different, right? The length of time I have to get a story out in 10 to 12 episodes is not the same length of time I have to get a story out in 16 episodes. Therefore, it needs to be graded on its own curvature, I think. Oh, okay. Yes, I have. Okay. So on that note, um, those two would probably outrank it later on. But what definitely outranks it today is Lovesick 2024. I remember watching Lovesick, the old version. I don't remember it though. I know I watched it. I just don't remember it. I will forever remember Lovesick 2024. That show had Poon and No had me from day one. That was the cutest, most awesomest high school long form show I have ever seen ever in the entirety of the entire life of I've ever been watching BLs, guys. I don't know if that made any sense, but I want you to understand how good that show was. It was on iQIYI. It was so good. It had everybody. First of all, I will note that it had way too many characters. Every week or so they were trying to introduce me to a new character. I was like, guys, I can't. There was like 3 to 4, maybe 5 couples in this show. I couldn't. I promise you there was a whole couple storyline I just don't have. I don't know their names. I can't pick them out of a lineup. I know that they had their own storyline for sure because by episode like this was also a long form. It had 15 episodes. By episode like 13, 14, they were like, oh yeah, that's my boyfriend. I was like, who are you? I don't remember you at all. Because he was a character that I just forgot. Like, I legitimately forgot. He had a name, a plot, everything. I forgot him. Literally. He had a whole boyfriend and everything. I couldn't tell you. It was just too many characters. But it was so good because each character had their own personality. They had their own story. And the amount of screen time that all the couples got, I didn't feel like I was like needing anything else from anybody. You know, a lot of times when there's more than like 2 couples, they don't know how to split the time wisely, right? Even with 2 couples, sometimes they don't know how to split the time wisely. But in this case, I thought everything was split so beautifully. This should probably be in my top 5 too. It was just split so beautifully. I loved every single moment of it. It was gorgeous. Yeah, it just made me so happy every week. And it literally like just came off. And so it was a Sunday show and I was watching my Sunday show. So I was like, dang, no more Lovesick 2024. I'm so sad. But it was so good. It was so very good. I Hear the Sunspot is one of my top Korean ones because Time of Fever was also Korean. First of all, I love when they introduce ASL into a show or any type of anything that's different, basically. But it's not ASL, it's sign language, sorry. I got to learn so much sign language this year. There was Taiwanese sign language, with See Your Love. Then I got to learn Korean sign language with I Hear the Sunspot. I loved I Hear the Sunspot. That was such a cute show. Everything about that was a fun time for me. It was also very emotional and I got very sad and very mad, but it was a fun time for me. And so yeah. But yeah, I just love it when there's something that's making it different, right? And I also, this wasn't this year, but this was 2023. I got to watch Thai sign language with Moonlight Chicken. So I love sign language as a general, but I loved that we are incorporating more diverse storylines and storytelling in the years coming up as BL and NGL is growing and changing and becoming whatever it is that it's about to be. On the factor of cuteness, right? So I would argue that Lovesick and my next one, which is Only Boo, their cuteness factor had a whole nother range. For Only Boo was a GMMTV show. It starred SeedCan. SeedCan is up for, I think, 2 different BLs next year, according to the GMMTV lineup. I need them to give it to both. I need both of them. I need them to have both of those shows. SeedCan, there is something about that dynamic. Can I explain to you what it is? Okay, but Only Boo, first of all, it was a music BL, and I love music shows. I love it when they put in music or bands or anything like that. I love it, even though I cannot sing nor play an instrument. I don't know what it is. Lovesick also had a band, even though it was, but it wasn't, you know. But Only Boo, it was. So the main character, King's character, he was trying to become an idol, a K-pop idol, and he ends up accomplishing his dream to the detriment of his love life. But it was like the story, even though it was very high school, very cute, it had substance. Like it had levels. Like it was a lot of times there were moments of like intensity, and it's like, yeah, you're dealing with high school and high school love and the high school love turning into something else and then growing and finding yourself and accomplishing your dreams, right? But you're also dealing with like this complexity of like parental judgment and acceptance of self and just like, I don't know, like learning to fight, but like not in a bad way, right? Like I don't think fighting is inherently bad, because I think you need to learn how to fight for things. You need to learn how to fight for things you love or fight against the things you don't like, right? In which both characters had to do both of that in this show, and learning how to speak up for yourself and, you know, how to make the best out of a bad situation. The second couple, although very entertaining, did not have enough time for me. That was one of those ones where I'm like, I love you. I loved your story, but I needed you to have like maybe 5. Like I just need a little bit more story, because they were very back and forthy, and for a long time they just weren't talking because of the back and forthness, and then all of a sudden it just was like fixed, and I'm like, yay. But like I probably needed like one more episode. GMMTV likes to do this thing called Our Sky, where they take the episodes from, they take the shows that they like did, I guess were like really popular, and they give them like special episodes. I would love for Only Boo and Wanda Good Day to be in that lineup. Will they be? I don't know, because I don't know what determines what show will and won't be on that thing. But if I had a voting right, I would love for those 2 shows to be on there, because there were things that I need resolved. That's it. But Only Boo was a fun time. It was a cute time. It was a good time. You should watch it. That one was fun. It really was. It was probably, before the shows I'm currently watching right now, it would probably have been one of my top cute ones. But it's definitely if not my top, one of my top cute ones for 2024. Okay, finally, Jack and Joker, You Steal My Heart. I am biased. I'm gonna let you know that right now. You probably can't trust my judgment on this, because I am a Yin War fan. Everything Yin War has ever produced in the entirety that I have known Yin War has been my favorite thing ever. And every time you mention Yin War, I mention all 3 of their acts of work, and every single time, everything awesome about it, right? So Yin War, I'm going to do it again. You can also watch my Jack and Joker reactions on my page, except at this point, episode 12 has not been edited, but eventually it will be up. And then they're getting a special episode too. And my thing about it is Yin War, they cater to their fans so much for the free. They put in 800K baht into this show. That's what I saw in one of the little translation things. That's so much money. That is so much money. Of their own money, guys, into this show. They end up getting sponsors and things like that, which is super great because the show ended up on iQIYI. But so many monies, okay? And the story was so good. Everybody's acting was so good. It was a beautiful show. I loved it so much. The story had story. There were moments of anger, moments of love, togetherness, separateness. Yin War also did the best story, which to this day remains one of the saddest BLs I have ever watched. It is only like 6 episodes. Go find it on the internet somewhere, guys. You will never be the same. And then they did Love Mechanics, which was still to this day one of my top BLs, probably somewhere in my top 20. But I think last year was like literally one of my top BLs, because that's when I was first getting into BL and everything. But yeah, it's literally one of my favorite shows ever. It'll probably go down as one of my favorite shows ever. I loved everything about that show, guys. It was complex. First of all, I love heist shows. There are very few times where I would tell you this heist show is bad, and the only time it's bad, that means it's so bad it's disrespectful. Because I just watched Red One, which is a Christmas movie with Dwayne Johnson and another character whose name I forgot. It was basically a heist movie with Santa. Like, they stole Santa. I was like, yes, engaged, okay? Was it my favorite movie ever? No. But where I go on a hill to try to argue for it, 100%, because it's a heist movie, and I love heist movies. And there were a lot of moments in this show where I was like, you are bad at heisting. And I was getting upset, not because the show itself, but because the characters were bad at heisting. And don't be coming on my heist if you're not going to heist correctly. And then he did the same group of people like 4 or 5 times with the same heist. I'm like, stop. They are bad at this. Stop doing this. But he kept doing it. My funny part with me is everybody calls this show Jack and Joker, right? Technically, the full title is Jack and Joker, You Steal My Heart, but everybody calls it Jack and Joker, which is super awesome. But my issue is when they're describing it, they say the main characters are Jack and Joker. Guys, the main character's name is Joke. It's Jack and Joke. And so I went on this ramble, on like this 3-4 minute ramble on a TikTok, right? And I was like, why did they call it Jack and Joker if the main character's name is Joke? I literally like can't comprehend why they did that. It felt intentional. It feels intentional to this day. But I'm trying to figure out if the intentionality is purposeful or if I have made something up in my head that doesn't exist. But either way, it was so good. It deals with class. It deals with understanding, rich and poor. It deals with understanding the decisions you make when you're in either headspace or both headspaces. It deals with family dynamics, family expectations, adopted family, found family, loss. It deals with like getting past your idea of a person to who that person is, accepting someone for who they are, not who you want them to be. It's so many aspects of the story are so complex. I'm trying not to, my whole goal with this is to try not to give all the stories away, because if you haven't seen them, I want you to go see them and watch them solely based off the recommendation that they're so good and so worth it, without giving too much away, because sometimes I think, I don't mind a spoiler, but sometimes if I'm prepped for something, I don't think it hits me in the full aspect of how it could have hit me if I didn't see it coming, right? Which I don't know if that's good or bad, but it's just what it is. So my whole goal in this is not to give too much away, because I want you to go watch it, or go watch a trailer, or go watch me reacting to it on my TikTok, on my YouTube, or go watch somebody else reacting to it. It doesn't have to be me, it can be anybody. Go get a second, a third, or fourth opinion, right? Don't take my word for it, but I don't know. I wanted to get these shows out there, because if you didn't know they existed, now you do. And Jack and Joker was definitely one of the top ones for sure. Is it my top for 2024? Maybe. I really enjoyed it. So maybe I will say that The Unknown, Jack and Joker, and Blank were my top 3 for 2024. I'm comfortable with that. That's my top 3 for 2024. Not in any particular order, because that would get me into another discussion that just feels long, and this is already a very long video. I did not expect it to be this long, guys. Thank you for sticking with me. But I would love to hear your top BLs. I really would. And why, I think everybody has a different reason for liking what they like, and I think that sharing the reason that you like what you like may help somebody else like it too. I know it helps me sometimes if I can get a different perspective on a show, and then I can go back and watch it with like a different understanding of it, and maybe understand it a little bit more. It may still not be for me, but at least I have a better understanding of what the show is trying to do or trying to say, or at least what another person thinks it's trying to do or trying to say. But yeah, I just want to thank everybody for coming on this 2024 journey with me. It's been so long and so fun and so very inconsistent, guys, because I'm working on my consistency this year. That is one of my BLGL 2024 goals, is to work on my consistency and just to try to create, different kind of content. Talk a little bit more about going in depth about some things, because I have thoughts. And I think one of my things is I sometimes get a little hesitant to share my thoughts, because I'm not sure if everybody has the same thoughts as me, but my 2025 goal is to just share them regardless, and we shall see what happens. So keep a lookout for some different type of content this year, and some more content continuing. If TikTok does disappear for the US, I will be on YouTube and Instagram probably. And I'm on Blue Sky now too, so I very rarely am on there, but I am on there occasionally. So yeah. Thank you so much. Again, I would not be here without you guys, whether you're watching me on YouTube or TikTok. I want to thank you for all your watches, even if you only watched me for a second and you skipped past. I want to thank you for all of your comments, your concerns, your shares, your likes and your hearts, and everything in between and around. Yeah. That all being said, I cannot wait to see the BLs and the GLs we get next year. I'm going to try to keep a better record of the shows. We shall see what happens. I'm hoping that I can do better, but life. And I hope that you guys stick around for another year of this, and to see all the things that I have coming out and coming forward. But yeah, thank you so much, and I'll see you guys next year.